All right, we are live for another episode of Real Estate Junkies podcast. Today, we are diving into the world of Instagram lead generation and the creative genius behind the Simple Touches. The founder of Simple Touches, Tamany Hall, she will be here today with us. Growing up in the midst of the hustle and bustle of real estate realm, her journey started with different roles, but right from labeling postcards for her parents with their real estate marketing firm and uh, being at the epicenter of first Keller Williams brokerage in California. She also has, her background is way more diverse than just being involved in real estate. She has been an eighth grade math teacher in Colombia and earning a mathematics degree from UC Irvine. Gives her a unique twist with her insights on real estate marketing and Instagram. So today's episode promises to be a blend of creativity and actionable strategies for realtors on Instagram. So don't just be an agent on Instagram, be a storyteller, a brand, and a force to be reckoned with. So Tamany, I'm excited to have you here on the podcast. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much. Thank you. This is a great introduction.
Chat GPT, baby.
uh,
Uh, so, Tamani, so tell us, your journey from labeling postcards for your parents, now mastering Instagram for real estate is fascinating, right? So, how do you think your background has influenced your approach with Instagram marketing?
yeah, it's crazy. Life is crazy. So I grew up with two real estate parents. They built their business on mailers, and so like you had mentioned, I did the labeling of the postcards. We went door knocking together. One year I was Easter Bunny. So like I've been around the marketing piece my whole life pretty much. And then they decided they wanted to work for Keller Williams, but there was not a Keller Williams in Northern California. So they ended up becoming brokers and opening. I think at one point they had like 6 or 7 market centers up there. So I was involved with all of that. It was a family-oriented business. And I've done front desk, I've done personal assistant, auditing assistant, I've done books, but I never wanted to be a real estate agent. My parents actually bought me the course and I never even opened the box.
Wow, but you've done all of it.
Yeah. And so when college time came around, that was one of my parents' goals
Do they
for.
still run their office?
They do not. My dad unfortunately passed last year, so we
Oh,
had
wow.
a shift. But yeah, one of his OPs actually took over, and he's doing a great job keeping everything going. Um,
So,
but
did
yeah,
they still own the franchise or?
no, we sold it when my dad got diagnosed.
Oh, wow,
Just
that was recent.
chapter, but yeah, it's been crazy. So when college time came around, I'm a stubborn independent woman, and I'd always wanted to be a teacher. And my dad told me, he's like, "You're not going to be happy with a teacher's salary," and I was like, I don't care." So I got a math degree, a teaching credential. I taught for 2 years in Sacramento, California, and then moved overseas and taught 4 years in Bogotá, Colombia. And I actually ended up coaching teachers, which is how I started working with adult learners versus student learners,
Hmm.
and really enjoyed that. And then all while I was doing that, I was like, yeah, the pay sucks. So I was doing a side business marketing on Instagram. So that's how I started learning about Instagram marketing. And then
Wow.
when he got diagnosed, I was like, I want to make my own schedule because I want to be able to go to his doctor's appointments and stuff like that. And so I just kind of combined my real estate knowledge, my teaching knowledge, and my marketing knowledge and just like made a business. And it's been so fun.
I mean, your previous experience starting with labeling marketing postcards for your parents, right? Like, how does trying to reach an audience through direct it's a direct form of marketing anyway, right? But uh, with paper versus today with technology, trying to reach an audience, it's still a direct form of marketing, right? What like that two different avenue, how do you think like it's different? Like, is it different or is it the same? What's your insight on that?
So it's what I always say with social media marketing is it's like the only marketing avenue that's free. I mean, you can, do paid ads and whatnot, but you have this ability to reach thousands to millions of people literally for free. So it's like, why not leverage it for your business? I mean, marketing is all about getting your brand in front of your ideal client X amount of times. So however you do that will work as long as you are consistent with it. And a lot of people struggle with direct mail or door knocking or whatever because it's expensive. It
I
takes
mean, door knocking is free, but it's just too direct.
well, you have to pay for the material to be printed.
Oh yeah,
Like it depends on if you were to post a video that got 10,000 views, how much would it cost you to print 10,000 mailers?
yeah.
Right. So that's why I mean, my dad was really passionate about helping people build wealth through real estate. And I feel like I've kind of taken it hopefully a little bit to the next level with digital marketing and social media marketing and how do you use this.
You are doing it. It's not hopefully you're doing it for sure. So for realtors starting on Instagram, okay, so what are the top 3, let's call it simple touches, right, you would recommend to instantly elevate their profiles?
Okay, so biggest mistake I see is
Mistake number 1. Go ahead.
your location should be stupidly obvious in your bio. I cannot tell you how many agents I click over to their profile.
Unless you are a global agent.
No, but you are a local business. Like you can build your
Majority of them, right? 99%.
Yeah, but you can build your referral network with socials. But I prefer to go after my direct client with socials, so I'm not relying on other people. But yeah, I should know where you are in the world if I click over. And for SEO too, like if I type in, where are you located?
Michigan.
If I type in Michigan realtor, like your page should pop up. And if it doesn't pop up, there's an issue. So that's the biggest mistake.
So my personal, I don't sell houses anymore for 3 years now. And, I train and coach agents, but if you were to, I do have a local team here in Michigan. So if you were to look us up, moving in Michigan, right? So it's just like, it cannot be more obvious than that, right?
Right. Right. And that's like, you can use your username as part of that, like your username, your bio, all that, but it should be very obvious. The next thing.
Mistake number 2. Yeah.
Mistake number 2 is it should be very, very easy for them to give you their email address. And whether you're doing that through like a freebie download or some sort of lead magnet.
So lead magnet, lead capture. People don't have that. I think 99.9%.
Yeah. And that's what my clients who come to me and they're like, I'm getting all these views, but I haven't gotten a single lead. I'm like,
did you tell them how to give them?
Exactly. Like they need to have you to like go in your funnel. And if you don't have that set up, that's like, I would get that set up first.
Wow. It's like, we need to collaborate. It's just like the stuff that I teach. Okay. So you're speaking my language. So like so we are still in the mistake number 2, but a lot of agents, what they do is, well, I told them to call me or text me and I read out my whole number and I put it on the caption and I put it on the screen too. And I put it everywhere. People still don't call me versus you giving the lead magnet and capturing the lead that way. Which way is the best practice way?
I mean, you have to think about the generation you're going after. If you're trying to go after millennials and younger, we don't want to call you. We want to click.
Just a small nudge.
Yeah, we want to do it all on our phones. I mean, that's just the reality of the world we live in. So
that's a very interesting point you brought up. So if you are going after seniors, so maybe you gotta be, because they probably don't like going into forums and giving away their emails.
Correct. And if you're going after,
because they read every single one of their emails.
Right. And if you're going after an older generation, Instagram might not be the platform for you. You might want to spend your time on Facebook. So knowing your niche, that might be is probably my mistake number 3.
Mistake number 3, not targeting a niche or an audience, or not knowing your audience.
Or saying my niche is residential, because you want to say, okay, residential. All right.
Oh my God, this is my
listen.
I talk to 30 to 40 agents a week, okay? Direct consultations. And every single time, my first question, what is your primary niche? And those of you who are watching this, I have asked you this before. And Here we go. Tammy, tell us about niches and audience.
Well, here's how I envision it. I want to make a video about it. I just haven't done it yet. So when you tell me my niche is residential, this is what I picture. Residential, male, female, generations.
Yeah.
You know, like it just
Houses, condos.
We are not Elon
house,
Musk.
lake house.
We do not have the resources to market to everyone in the world. So
yeah.
Narrow it down, man. Make it easier for yourself.
One of my mentors, my teachers, he's the challenge guy. You can look him up, challenge guy. He says, Pedro Adao. So he says, build a niche so small that only you fit in it.
I love that. I love it. And people get so nervous about niching down. It doesn't mean you don't serve other people. It's just it makes your marketing so much easier for yourself. I get other industries reaching out to me all the time wanting to work with me, but I only market to realtors. Like you're not excluding people. You're making it more exclusive to work with you.
Yeah, you become the category king.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's talk content strategy, right? So before I get into content strategy, people get lost in the mix of all the features of Instagram or any other social media platform, right? You're doing YouTube, the keywords, the thumbnails, all that other stuff, right? So stories, reels, IGTV, and posts, right? In your opinion, which one holds the most potential for realtors and why?
Reels.
Reels, yeah.
Reels now.
Reels, talking head reels, day in the life reels. What type?
So reels, just with how the algorithm is working, is getting pushed to the most non-followers. And you have to think about this too. Is like at any given point in time, you have viewers who have no idea who you are.
Yeah. So I see 90% of my reach is to non-followers. What is that? Yeah, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's great because you're getting in front of new people, right? So at any given point, you have people who have no idea who you are and people who know who you are. So you are trying to introduce yourself and nurture at the same time.
And you're trying to nurture them, right?
Right.
The followers.
Right. So the people who really struggle with their content, they're either missing one of those or only posting promotional content. What's promotional content? Just listeds, testimonies, open houses, blah, 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 blah. Listen, that stuff's important. Don't get me wrong, but it is not going to go viral.
I think it should be less than 20% of your content, those promotional ones.
Well, so if
you got a lot of listings to post, create a lot more content than the amount of listings you got.
Yeah. Or bundle it, right? Like do a one post carousel with all your listings or something.
In my opinion, it should be 5-1. Out of 5 of your content, 1 should be promotional.
Yeah. So I teach my membership clients, there's 4 buckets of content type. Promotional is only one of those buckets, right? Yeah. So if you're missing the other 3 buckets, your promotional content isn't going to go anywhere. You need the other buckets to lift your promotional content up.
Yeah. That's amazing. So a lot. Hashtags. Okay, so hashtags can be a game changer, but there is talks now that we're moving away from hashtag to SEO, search engine optimized, titles, captions. So how can real estate, TikTok has been like super focused on SEOs. How can real estate agents effectively use them now, the captions and hashtags to increase their reach, and what are some of the common hashtag mistakes to avoid?
So I think about hashtags as the cherry on top of the sundae, in the sense that it's not going to make or break your content. It's nice if it's there, but if it's not there, it's fine. For realtors specifically, I suggest using location specific hashtags. So for example, hashtag Dallas, hashtag Dallas TX, hashtag Dallas Texas, those kind of variations, hashtag Dallas Realtor. I try to stick around 10 to 15. I know they're coming out and saying the new number is 3 to 5. I'm like, 30 is your absolute max. Don't go over 30. If you go over 30, your caption gets erased on Reels and you can't get it back. So don't go over
30 is
30.
a lot. Like, are you
30
kidding?
is a lot. So yeah, I try to stick around 10 or so, and I try to make them mostly location specific. And it's just
For
one
real,
more
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one more place your content can show up because you could have the potential to rank on the hashtag page. Now, I'm assuming since they're going to SEO and all this stuff, hashtag pages are super saturated and nobody really looks there very often. I mean, it's possible. Like sometimes I'll look up like hashtag Dallas nails or something to find a new nail person. But yeah, SEO for sure. Load your captions with keywords, load your bio with keywords, all that good stuff.
So, you mentioned the saturation on hashtags and obviously saturation on content too, right? Like everybody and their mama's on Instagram now. I mean, not mama, everybody and their cousin. So it's on Instagram, right? So how does, nobody knows how the algorithm works. So algorithm is ever evolving. They're not like intentionally changing anything. So what are some insider secrets to staying ahead and ensuring that your content consistently reaches the intended audience? Like those are all keywords on this content piece. So how does your algorithm play a role, but how do you stay ahead, making sure that your content reaches the audience you want to target, right? Like it's 1,000 views doesn't mean anything if none of those people are from Dallas and you're a Dallas realtor, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm super data driven just from my background and teaching and math and all that stuff. I check my insights almost every day, and Instagram is an engagement driven platform. So instead of followers, instead of likes, you should be worried about your engagement. And I tell my clients all the time, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to your insights. We're going to look at the top 3 pieces that got the most engagement this month. And we're going to use that to create our new posts. And we're going to make stuff similar to what's performing well right now, not a year ago, right now.
Okay. And obviously views are nice, right? And but it doesn't really convert leads unless you have people engaging, meaning they're staying longer and they're taking action, like whatever call to action you do, and they're going into your link in bio, checking out your website, your funnel, whatever you're offering, right? So engagement is the buzzword that we should, as business owners or realtors that try to market a business in real estate, right? So or in Instagram. So how can realtors foster like genuine interactions from their audience that they're trying to target and build a community? And I always say this to the realtors I coach who are trying to grow a reach on social media, is that it's not the followers, it's the community you want to go after. So how can they build a loyal community, raving fans on Instagram without feeling overwhelmed? Because it feels like you need so much to get engagement, right? You gotta be a Mr. Beast, right? Like the Mr. Beast concept. Like you gotta go create these like experiments and then get all these viewers. So how can realtors, obviously we run a business, right? You can't be a Mr. Beast with content to get engagement from your audience. How can realtors do it?
There's so much I want to say about this. Okay, so the first thing I'll say is like I feel like realtors try one of 2 things, and both work, but they're very different strategies. One is to try to go viral and get thousands and thousands and thousands of followers, and hopefully someone in there is looking to buy or sell in your area. The other strategy, which I think is more feasible for most, is going hyper local.
Strategy, yeah.
Yep, going hyper local with your keywords, with your geotagging, with all that stuff, and building this smaller but more engaged, more targeted community that is going to be super into your content because you're speaking their language.
Yeah.
Now, as far as engagement goes, we need to think about social media. It's social. It's 2 ways. If you can take your reels and put them like as a TV commercial, that's not good, because on a TV, there's no way to interact with the creator, right? So I always tell people, think about your comment section as like a Reddit feed, and your video is just the anchor of the topic of conversation. So like you're posting with the intention of getting people to interact, and you want to talk back to them too, because you're interested in whatever you're posting about.
So how can you get people to comment and create a conversation on the topic you're posting about?
Well, knowing your niche, because knowing your pain points, that's emotion sells. Emotion is, you want to talk about things that make you sad, make you happy, make you laugh, whatever. So you want to post things that are going to get inside your target audience's head, and they're going to be like, holy crap, like I have to comment on this because this is amazing, or like that's so funny, or I just did this, right? So when you're like, promotional is one of your buckets, engaging is another bucket. Like you have to know who you are trying to target so you can figure out what they're going to be interested in, and that's what you're going to post about.
So some of the content that really like helped us with engagement is stuff like, don't move to this city for these 5 reasons. And you actually flip, obviously, you can't violate equal housing, right? You cannot redline, you cannot steer people away or to a place. But it's the way we did it. It's like, don't move to the city for these 5 reasons. Number one, it's a diverse community. So if you don't like diversity, don't go there. So stuff like that, like very funny. And then another one was like, this is the number 1 dessert place in this city, right? So it's like a lot of people disagree and they want to say what's their number 1, right? Yeah.
Controversial stuff is great, and people love to argue. But I think that you have to post with the intent of people sharing their opinions. And I know, like, when I first started, I didn't, and I almost got nervous every time someone commented, because I was like, what are they saying about me? Like, what, but that's not your purpose. Like, I was introduced at a training and they're like, oh, she has so many followers, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't care about that. I care that I made a place, an avenue, my Instagram profile, where realtors can come and ask questions and get help, because where else are they going to go? So that's what you need to strive to create for your tribe, your people in your area who are like you, because you're going to attract who you're like and who aligns with your values and all these things. But also being a little bit vulnerable and not being so robotic and just copying what you're else is doing.
You gotta be you on your content. It's just like, no, you're transforming into this professional person.
Yeah. And so I think like different trends have like peaked in different years. So like in 2020 it was dancing trends. In 2021 it was like pointing to text on screen. 2022 is lip sync. In 2023 it's original content. So that's why you're seeing people like Kyle Toomey with the running through the open house videos going viral, because nobody did it yet. And now everyone's copying him, right? So like using your creativity, or even using ChatGPT to help you figure out, okay, what's something I can make that hasn't been made yet or isn't being widely, like if everyone's doing it.
But has the potential for going viral, right? So it knows the audience.
If everyone's doing it, everybody stops caring, right?
Yeah.
So you can't just be a robot. You can't hire people to do it.
Talking about original content, right? And I have been experimenting with that a lot. I mean, you follow me on Facebook, Instagram too, in my captions, telling stories, right? So storytelling is a powerful tool, and I feel like it brings out the most authentic version of you, right? So especially in real estate, where personal connection matters still a lot, like with the AI and the chatbots and the digital marketing and targeting and the pixels. People who buy real estate still care about personal connection, and that's a reality, right? So how can you share your story, or like a closing story, right, where a realtor uses Instagram to narrate a property story or a closing story, or someone's journey into real estate, or your journey into real estate, or your I guess origin story, or whatever it is, generates significant interest or engagement from like attracting the right audience?
I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it. Voiceovers are great. I love if your clients give you permission to show their emotion on key day. It's one of my absolute favorite videos, because it's so easy and it's so natural, right? Also, calling out your ideal audience in the first couple of seconds of the video is going to significantly increase your reach. So for example, this video is for you if you live in Dallas, Texas, or stop scrolling if you invest in real estate, whatever, right? But like giving some context to what the heck this video is about is going to change your whole strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And cold calling is dead, right? No, I'm just kidding. But like all skeptics out there who are like cold callers and they're like, oh, you don't need that. I just directly call for sub by owners. I don't need Instagram. I don't need to create content. I don't need engagement. I don't need followers. I don't need none of that. Right. And they're like, I'll just do the old school way. Like, what are your message to those who believe in Instagram is not a viable platform for real estate lead generation? Like, how can or how do you debunk some of those common myths?
I don't think it needs debunking. I think there are so many agents who are growing their business like crazy just from Instagram. Now, I'm not saying other methods of marketing are incorrect. Like I said, marketing is about getting your brand in front of people. However you decide to do that will work as long as you're consistent. I personally am not super excited about the idea of cold calling or door knocking, or you find something that's going to work with your personality. If you absolutely hate being in front of the camera, video marketing,
in my opinion, coaching and training agents, only 20% of agents are actually naturally good at cold calling. Like, yes, I said it in the camera. Only 20% of you out of the 80% of agents try it, okay, and like struggle with that and get yelled at by their coaches that you need to cold call more. Just know that only 20% of all people are naturally good at cold calling, not just for real estate leads, any business. Like, you're cold calling, only 20 of us are like drivers, like natural drivers, not adaptive drivers, right? Natural drivers are, potentially good at cold calling because they're direct and they like to, just move along, and their personality is just naturally good at that function. But doesn't mean like other people cannot do it. You would still do it. Just know that you'd have to adapt to being a driver when you're cold calling. So if your natural habitat of your personality is not you go there, you're not gonna feel good about doing it, right? So it's like maybe you should try something different and something that is really working for a lot of people out there, because getting on video, you don't need to be a driver for that. Like, you could be any personality and be on video for who you are. That's it. You just have to get over the hurdle. I feel like what I do help agents who haven't been on video and not comfortable with it. I ask them one question: why don't you want to get on video? Well, I don't feel comfortable, or I hate the way I sound, or I hate the way I look. So when I hear those answers, I just ask them, if you hate yourself on video, your clients must hate you in person, right?
It's personal development. Like, you have to do some work on yourself to put yourself out there.
And
Honestly,
every single time they say their clients don't hate them in person, the clients love them. I'm like, well, if your clients could love you in person, I think you could go over. I think you'll be fine on video, because it's like on video. It's not in person is worse. Trust me, with someone. So anyway, I guess, like, what do you do for realtors? I know, I see your content a lot. You give a lot of great value and tips for real estate agents to grow their outreach on Instagram, and not just outreach. You teach real estate agents, what is the word that you use? Get over. What's the word that you use? You get real estate agents. You help real estate agents get.
be more present in their personal lives.
Yes, and but to generate the top of the leads, top of the funnel leads, run over, get run over by top of the funnel leads.
Explode their top of funnel lead generation with the exponential power.
I love that. I love that so much. Explode your top of the funnel lead. So tell us, what do you do for realtors? And I guess, like, if someone wants to be interested in your program, how do they sign up?
Yeah, so I have different levels of support. For more of my beginners, I have a mini course. All of this is at thesimpletouches.com. For those who are already posting consistently on Reels and looking for more of a strategy, my highest ROI program is weekly prompts. They do really, really great. They're made specifically for lead generation. I also have one-on-one coaching, and I have a brand new luxury service, luxury content experience, for those that just want to pay someone to do it for them, get it all shot, edited. They come to Dallas for 2 days. I get it all done. You don't have to hire an editor, a content creator, a blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
I do it all for you. It's amazing. So that's we're now booking for Q1 for the luxury experience. So that's a great opportunity as well. And then I also travel and teach quite often. I'm going to be in California, in Indiana.
I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'd have to bring you on for so I'm just gonna ask on live. Can we have you on for like a master class?
We are restructuring how we're doing all of that, but yeah, shoot me an email and let's talk about it.
For sure. Yeah. Again, thank you for your time. Thank you for all the value that you have provided for my audience. You guys better listen, okay? Whoever's listening, and you better listen and implement some of this stuff. Like straight fire, you definitely know what you're talking about. I've been like I'm a big paid ads guy, and that's how I built my business over the last 7 years. I have a database of 130,000 people in Michigan that we retarget with lead magnets and all the other stuff, which is like very easy game for me. I just never learned organic. For the last 2 years, I've been like delving into organic, trying to understand what works, engagement, and any of it. And I found that if you use the organic strategies of like trying to attract and engage audience with free traffic, and you apply it to paid traffic, it just scales it to a whole new level. If you know your insights on your organic traffic and you use the content that got the most engagement to like, oh my God, like that's what I'm excited about, that we are getting into more. But anyway, I'm excited to have you back in the future for another masterclass, and so we can teach our audience organic growth for Instagram. All right, thank you. So simpletouches.com.
TheSimpleTouches.com.
TheSimpletouches.com. Thank you again, Tamany. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me.